What are we talking about today?
Well, I just really wanted to talk to you today. I just really wanted to. What did you do yesterday to me? You just wanted to check in.
Oh, yeah.
No. Well, do you want to check in?
I feel like we just checked in.
You feel like we just checked in? You don't feel like a lot has happened within the last 16 hours?
Well, a lot has happened, but, I think the last time we were talking, I was talking about how I was starting to stress out.
Yeah.
And then 24 hours later, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not as stressed out anymore.
You're breathing.
I feel like I have breathing room again.
Yeah. Today, yesterday hit me, like I mentioned. And then today, I don't know, I just felt like I remember I said yesterday that I didn't want to jinx it. And I don't feel like I jinxed it, but I do feel like I'm I'm just, I don't know. I feel like I want things to go back to the way it was before.
Like before everything happened?
Yeah. And I'm mourning the fact that it's not going to happen.
That where
things aren't going to go back to the way they used to be.
Like never, or like
maybe eventually, but I know that even like your mindset is going to be different. The way you think is going to be different. The way we approach things are going to be different now. And I don't know. I didn't think of that. I didn't realize that till earlier today when we were driving around earlier. I was like, like why? Not like oh poor me, why? But more like, man, like it kind of like, it just hit me, and I was like, wow, it's not going to be the same.
But it's kind of like the whole thing where they say don't make plans, because the moment you make plans is like everything kind of like shifts, or your plans fall apart. And I don't think like we were making plans about this, but I don't think we were making plans about this, but I think people were. Like I think we were all kind of on a we were all on a course, and we were all kind of going like everything is, things are happening, and I think maybe that was the big expectation like around 2020. It was like things are progressing.
Everybody had their ideas.
Yeah, things are progressing to a certain point as a society, as the world or whatever.
Well, we don't know. At least it seemed like that.
And 2020 was like such a like pivotal year that was supposed to be like, oh, that's going to be like, the continuation of everything that we've been doing.
Well, I remember a lot of people talking about how 2020 was 20 years after 2000 started, and everybody was like, oh my God, it's been 20 years.
Well, it was supposed to be like there was a lot of excitement around it.
Yeah, there was.
And, I remember like before this started, everybody like had their like, even I had like said stuff, but we were all like saying like, this is going to be my year. This is going to be the year that I do this. This is going to be the year that silly humans. This is going to be the year that blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank, whatever you wanted to do. Like everybody, like not everybody, but a lot of people, myself included, we're talking about that. Like, this year I'm going to do this. It's going to
be my year.
This year is going to be blah, blah, blah. And so, lo and behold.
Yeah. So speaking of that, have you ever heard of a term called, let me see if I can find it really quick. Oh, that's not it. A term called, that's not it either. Haha, here it is. Toxic positivity.
Toxic positivity?
Have you heard of that before?
No, what the hell is that?
So toxic positivity is the excess and ineffective overgeneralization of happy and optimistic state in any situation, and the denial, minimization, and invalidation of genuine human emotion experience.
Wait, repeat that?
Okay. Toxic positivity is the excess and ineffective overgeneralization of a happy and optimistic state in any situation, and the denial, minimization, and invalidation of genuine human experience. For example, when a person exhibits toxic positivity, they deny any and all negative experiences that make us human and live which live their life in this way.
Like when you read the definition the second time, I kind of get what they're saying.
You kind of get what they're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
But I mean, my first reaction is like, But some people react like that.
Some people are like, how? What do you mean by that?
Some people react like when they're nervous, they smile, or when they're nervous, they laugh, or when they're afraid, they laugh, or they're nervous.
So they have examples here. They have okay.
That's what my first thought was, like, but I don't know.
They have examples here. So when you hear terms like everything happens for a reason, failure is not an option. You ever heard that before? Mm-hmm. I think we've even had posters like that at school.
Yeah.
Failure is not an option. Or it could be worse.
Or what is it? What do you got to lose?
what do you got to lose? Well, no, that's not one. That's more
I'm
like
making a joke, because that's what Trump always says.
Okay. Always look at the bright side. The silver lining. There's always a silver lining to everything.
There's a movie called The Silver Lining.
It's more of that dismissive thing of that, there's an emotion behind it, but it's kind of dismissed, right?
Well, what made you think about what is it called? Toxic positivity?
Toxic positivity.
What made you think about that? Like what?
Well, I read it. There was a while back that I read. I came across it, and I've always known about this. And we've had this conversation before about how people, in a way to seem genuine, and in a way to seem optimistic, or want to like not bring up your spirits, but want to influence you, right? They always want to influence you, and the way to influence you is to tell you you just you gotta push through. You do your best, and the best is all you can do, right? It's kind of a dismissive of like what actually happened. Why are you in that state at that moment? Why are you feeling the way you're feeling? So do you recognize what happened, or do you dismiss it until you're ready to recognize it, or do you dismiss it completely?
But in what context are you?
Okay, so for example,
what context are you bringing up this thing?
Well, I heard the term, and I was reading a little bit of like what they had to say on it, and I was like, oh yeah, I've experienced that, because I remember when I was going into like my depression, and when I was going through my anxiety, I heard a lot of that. There was a lot of like, I would hear it through my mom. She would be like, you just gotta think positive. You're not trying hard enough. Or at least that's not what she said, but that's what I heard. There was a lot of like, and I feel like even now around this here, for example, earlier today, I was going through the stories of Instagram, and I happened across somebody's post about somebody else. And it was a girl, I think a mother of two kids, who was going on about how she was meeting up with her girlfriends at Target, that it's just a mindset that you're in, that all of this is happening, and that you're feeding into the fear of what's happening right now. And she was at Target, kind of like just hanging out at Target with her friends, and they were picking stuff up, and they were hanging out, you know what I mean? And I think that's not that I'm saying that what she was doing was wrong, is that mindset that maybe it works for her, but I don't know if that's going to work for the people who are genuinely scared. You know what I mean?
Do you think that's toxic? That's toxic positivity. Going to Target.
Can I be honest? I think that was just stupid of her to sit there and go to Target and not practice social distancing. But what I'm saying. But
what is toxic positivity then, as an example that you're talking about?
Okay, so here, when it is toxic positivity?
I don't mean like a definition. I mean like a real like.
Well, here, let me read this to you. Maybe you understand. Like, it says we have certain behaviors that could be accounted as toxic positivity, whether it's for ourselves or when talking to others. For example, hiding what you really feel, dismissing your emotions, feeling guilty for the negative emotions you feel, minimizing others people experiencing by saying, don't think about it, or saying things like, or showing others different perspective, as in, it's not that bad, or shaming others for feeling negative emotions.